All right, welcome to yet another challenge lab for AZ104. This time what we're going to do is some network peering, right? So let's go and take a look at our lab environment. So this has been pre-created for us by the lab hoster. And the first thing we want to do is go and take a look at the public IP addresses of our virtual machine, VM1. So we got here VM1 and VM2. They're in different regions, as we can see. So the public IP address of the first one is this one. Got that? We're going to need that later on. Another thing that we could do here is take a look at the VNet that this is in. I can do it through here. And then selecting the VNet itself. And we wanted to know what the private IP address space is like. So we can see that this is in the 10.100/16 address space. There's also another VNet. So if we go to VNet 2, there we are. And this is the 10.100/16 address space as well. So let's further on take a look at the subnets here. So here we have subnet 1 with 10.100/24, and over in VNet 1 we have exactly the same structure. So two VNets with the same subnet structure and the same IP ranges. So is that a problem? Well, if we intend to do the peering between these two networks, then this is a problem, right? Remember that you cannot have overlapping address ranges when peering. So we can actually see this. Let's say that we're here in VNet 1, and we want to do a peering towards VNet 2. So that's down here under peerings. Right, so we want to add, and we can call this is the remote one, so this is VNet 2 to VNet 1. In our description, and the other VNet here is VNet 1, VNet 2. It immediately tells us that this is not going to work, right? There's no overlap in the address spaces. So, however, this happens sometimes, right? This is very much a possibility. Now, we actually do have overlapping IP addresses. So what should we do, right? So first of all, the lab is asking us for the IP range that is overlapping, and it's the 10.100/16 range. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, if we go back to our, let's say VNet 2, okay, let's keep VNet 1 as it is, and change VNet 2. So what we can do here is we can actually add address spaces, right? So over here, if we go over to address spaces, we can see our current address space, and it's even letting us know over here that there's another VNet that has the same one. That might be a problem. So let's just add another IP address range. Let's say 10.2.0.0/16, right? So this should work. And let's save that. So now we kind of doubled the amount of IP addresses that we have in our virtual network. and we have a range that is not overlapping with the other VNet. Okay. So now, if we go to subnets, we have our subnet here, and that of course has an IP range as well. And now, can we edit this? Like, if we could, where would it happen? No, we can't, right? So subnet IP ranges cannot be edited. However, what we could do is create another subnet, right? So let's create a subnet. Let's call it subnet 2. And now, instead of having it in the primary address range, let's have it in the second one. And let's just take the first 256 addresses from that. So slash 24. Everything else can be standard. So let's just add that. Right, so now we have a subnet that is in the secondary IP range that is not overlapping with what we have in VNet 1. So now, remember we had those virtual machines? So one of them was in that secondary VNet. You see here, it's in VNet 2, subnet 1. So what we need to do is we need to take the networking card of this particular virtual machine. So this is the network card. And now we need to associate this network card with the secondary subnet, right? So it's now in subnet 1, and we want it to be in subnet 2 instead. Note that it says that the virtual machine will be restarted to utilize this new subnet. Okay, so let's apply. So now that's done. All right, cool. We have our IP configuration in subnet 2. And if we go back to our virtual machine, we should be able to see that it is now in subnet 2 if we just do a refresh, right? Maybe let's go over here, overview, and you can see it's in subnet 2 now. Great. So let's go back to VNet 2. And now our subnet 1 is actually empty. So what we could do is get rid of it, right? The way that we do that is we select subnet 1, and then we press the delete button up here. All right, that's done. So now all of the subnets in this VNet only use the 10.2 IP range. So now when we go back to the address space page here, we can actually delete the 10.1 address space. And then save. All right, we did that correctly. So now we can do network peering, right? So let's go back to peerings and add, to add again, VNet 2 to VNet. No. VNet 2. Yeah, now it allows us to do it. And then this is VNet 2 to VNet 1, like this, right? All right, it says it's done. It only shows us one peering here, but if we refresh, we should get the other one to show up as well. This is just the one that we're looking at from VNet 2's point of view, right? So fully synchronized, connected. And now if we would go over to VNet 1, under peerings, you would have the same one, yeah. VNet 1 to VNet 2. Perfect. So everything is connected and fully synchronized. So let's go ahead and do some tests. All right, now we can SSH into our VM Azure admin at, what was it, 52.149.139.118. Yes. And then our password should be this. And now we're here, right? So here you can see our private address. So we're in the 10.1 network. So that's VNet 1, right? And then the other network was 10.2. So let's see if we can ping, let's say 4 times 10.2.0.4, because that should be the private IP address of the virtual machine 2. And this is in a different VNet, right? It works, right? So this will not work if the VNets wouldn't have been peered. Perfect. So we've verified that everything is going okay. And in this lab, what we have done is we started off with 2 VNets having exactly the same IP ranges, with subnets having exactly the same IP ranges, and both of the subnets having a virtual machine in them with exactly the same IP. So what we did was we added a new IP range to one of the VNets, a new subnet in there, and then we changed the virtual machine's association to that new subnet. Then we removed the old subnet as well as the old IP range, and now we had 2 VNets that had totally different IP ranges. So then we could do the peering. And then we tested that the peering actually works, so there is network traffic running between the 2 VNets. Thanks for listening from me, and see you in the next lab. Till then.